Hi friends, welcome to my channel Simple Learning Tips. So in today's video, we'll be discussing one interesting topic, that is international HRM. And the topics that I'll be covering today are definition, types of employees based on the country of origin, and approaches to IHRM. Okay. So see, in this video, I'm just going to cover the terms related to IHRM. Okay, it is not in any kind of particular order. So without much further ado, let's move on to the first topic, which is definition. So this definition I have included just for reference purpose. Okay, so here it is given by Boxall P, and here he has defined it as IHRM as concerned with the human resource problems of multinational firms in foreign subsidiaries such as expatriate management, or more broadly with the unfolding HRM issues that are associated with the various stages of the internationalization process. Okay. So this definition, or basically IHRM, simply means that, see, it is, so far we have covered what are the various HRM functions, what are the various HRM planning, everything. So everything is same. The only difference is that whatever internal activities, the only difference is that, see, we are doing recruitment, selection, training and development, then career development, performance appraisal, then compensation packages. Everything we are doing for this HRM functions. Okay, but whatever we are doing now for IHRM is to ensure that what any kind of internal activities, okay, related to international business and strategies are being successful and that they are being handled well. So basically, or simply, it means that we are doing the recruitment and all the HRM functions to ensure that whatever international operations or business strategies that we have, that a company has, should be successful. Just a small example is, we have a business and we have started a branch in Canada or US. Okay, so see, the way we are running business in India, it's not necessary that, you know, same thing we can follow in the US or UK or Canada. Okay, we have to adopt a strategy, a business strategy with the that will comply with the rules and regulation of that country. Okay, so it is actually a big process. That is what is this internationalization process. It is actually related to strategic business, strategic HRM, strategic business activities. Okay, these things don't happen at the lower level or middle level. All these activities, it happens mostly at the higher level. Okay. So that is international HRM. Okay, that is, you have to handle, it is very sensitive and you have to handle international HRM very well. Okay. So next one, types of IHRM, like I said. So you have parent country nationals. Okay, who are these parent country nationals? They are otherwise known as home country national. See, these are employees from that country where the company's headquarters or head office are located. Okay, for example, TCS has a headquarter, let's say in Mumbai. Okay, so the people who are working there and the parent country national, that is these employees are from India only, because the headquarter of TCS is in India. Okay, so that is parent country nationals. Now, host country nationals, these are the employees, or let me explain in another way, that I'll first start with an example. Okay, host country national means, suppose this TCS company has a subsidiary, foreign subsidiary. Okay, suppose in US, and you are directly recruiting people from the US. Okay, for that subsidiary branch. So that country nationals, they are the host country nationals, because these are the employees that are from the country where the company has set up a foreign subsidiary or additional facility. Okay, so people who are directly recruited from that country, like I said, TCS in US, and they are recruiting directly US nationals, US citizens. Okay, so that is host country nationals. Now, last one is third country nationals. Now, these are employees who are working in either parent country or host country, but They are not from any, they are not the nationals of both the countries. They're not from India, they're not from US. Okay. So I hope it is clear. This is very easy. Okay. Just think from the example point of view. Then first one, then based on the employees type. Okay. So the first one is expatriate. Now expatriate means a person an employee from a parent country national. They are sent on a long-term assignment or project to host country. For example, a TCS employee in India and India is being sent for an on-site assignment to US for a long-term basis. That is expatriate. Okay. Impatriate means host country nationals or even third country nationals are assigned to work in home country. That is US employee or US executive. They are coming and they are working in India. Okay. In our example. Next one, repatriate. Repatriate means, we have sent one Indian, an employee from India to US. Okay. Now we are bringing back that employee after that assignment period is over. So that is expatriate. So he is coming back to home country after that assignment term is over. Okay. That is repatriate. Okay. So I hope it is clear. Just understand it from the examples that I have mentioned. Okay. Now next one, approaches to IHRM. Now here there are three approaches. First one, ethnocentric approach. Now here, in this approach, what companies will generally do is that they send this home country executives to abroad. Okay. Why? Because they think that they will be able to handle the day-to-day activities in a better manner, as they already know how the company works. This is of the assumption that, okay, he will be able to perform better in foreign countries also. But actually, this approach has a slight bit of tendency to consider their own culture as superior to the others. But this approach has lot of drawbacks because, it's not necessary that maybe the executive was performing well or maybe a kind of top performer in the home country. Okay. But when he will be sent to abroad, it is not necessary that he will win the hearts of the local nationals there or the local employees there. It is not at all necessary, or it's not necessary that, he can overcome the cultural barriers or the factors related to family or any other, cultural shock that he is getting. That is not necessary. Okay. So there are a lot of drawbacks in ethnocentric. Okay. Next one is polycentric approach. Now, here what the approach means is that wherever foreign subsidiaries are there, that should be managed by the local people only, because they will have, better understanding of the culture there. They will have the better understanding of the government regulations and policies. Also, they will not have any kind of language barrier. Okay. So that will not disrupt any kind of productivity, and they don't have to, they don't have the problem of this cross-cultural also. So everything will be going on smoothly. That is what is this polycentric approach, because they will be having more access to recruit, more talent in the local country. I mean, in that particular country. Okay. Last one is geocentric. Now, in geocentric, this approach believes that hiring must be based on the talent and it should be on global basis. Because, it is very important for the organization that regardless of nationality, a strong team has to be built. A good talent, a person with good competency should be brought in the organization. That is very essential for success of an organization who is we know when we are opening up new branches in a global level. Okay. So that is what geocentric approach means. So I hope you got an idea about what is IHRM and what are these approaches and various types. Okay. So if you have any doubt or if you haven't understood that, please mention in the comment section below. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to this channel, and please leave your valuable comments below. Thank you for watching this video and stay tuned for more videos like this. Thank you.